Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, this is Naj and Jay, and we are here with the Kings of Harlem.
Yes.
Here at the Delaware Theatre Company.
This is huge.
Literally and figuratively. This is definitely the most people that we've had on our show at one time, and this is going to be cool. So, starting with Mr. Gray, Mr. Leon Gray, did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes.
Nice. All right. Could you please tell the people about your production?
I'm Leon Gray. I'm the writer and director and choreographer.
Ooh, I love it.
That's important. That's that there. Of Kings of Harlem, which is the story of the 1939 Harlem Wrens basketball team who won the very first. If it was the NBA back in the 30s, it would be the NBA championship. So they won the very first one, and no one knows about it. So we're here in Delaware Theatre Company telling that story.
Now, how did you discover the story?
Ooh, to make a long story short.
Do what you got to do,
For me, I love telling stories from history. You know, I love, especially African-American history that no one knows about. And during the process of researching another show, I stumbled upon this story just online. And I tabled it so I could finish writing the piece I was writing. Fast forward years later, I had write a story about the Harlem Wrens. So 2-3 years later, I found that paper in a box in my garage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I said, okay, well, it's time to start telling that story.
Yeah.
So I started the research, which took literally about maybe 2-3 months of just research.
Right.
Writing it was the easy part. I wrote the play, the first draft of it, in maybe like a week or so. And some of these guys are the original, and they can tell you a little bit on that process, Thaddeus and Lamar. Like I would come into rehearsal, and I have 2 pieces of paper. Say, what do you think? You know, and they go back and tweak some things and just start all over again. We were literally maybe about a week opening up in New York, the first workshop production of it, and I hadn't finished Act 2 of the play. So it took a lot of trust from these guys and me to bring this important story to life. And that was 2014, and here we are now in 2023.
Wow.
Doing the show.
So we're at the Delaware Theatre Company. We are not at a basketball court. We're at a basketball court, but not at a basketball court. And you designed this, and you did the choreography.
Yeah, I did the choreography, but I have a set designer, Mitch Oss. What's up, Mitch? So he put the set design together and the incredible.
From your vision?
Yes. And
So
then,
you just was like, I'm gonna write it, I'm gonna visionize it, I'm gonna choreograph it.
We're gonna charge you if you use it.
Yes.
I wanted to keep the set simple and focus on the story and the basketball playing. So for those who will get a chance to come and witness this incredible play performed by these gentlemen, you will see why we don't have a big set, only 2 hoops and a board in the back to create the vision. So I know I wanted to keep it very simple and tell the story so the audience could be more invested in the story.
Can you give us, without giving the whole story, like just a little bit, because it's obviously about much more than just basketball as a sport. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, the really sort of fundamental part of the plot that's really important?
Well, you know, I always say, I tell people, and with all my pieces I create, you know, I start within love. I make it, this is more of a love story with gentlemen from all different parts of the world who come together for one purpose and to win a championship. So it's a lot deeper than basketball.
Yeah.
Actually, basketball is the backdrop on what's really happening within the play. So when the audience come, you'll see the journey of these men and the trials and tribulations that they had to go through race, through issues of not being accepted into the white basketball league. Because what a lot of people don't know, back in the 20s and 30s, basketball was all white compared to what it is today. And these men, they were in a league, it was called the Colored League. It was like 5 or 6 teams, so they would constantly play each other. But they wanted to get in this other league to play against the better white teams. And we talk about that a lot in the play. And the ending is incredible. I won't give it away, but you got to come see it.
So before we introduce the cast, I just have to say, I'm already picking up on themes. You said the set is simple with just the 2 hoops and the basketball court. And then you said it's deeper than basketball. And when you think about it, our boys and girls, sometimes it's just as simple as a basketball court. So I just want to just put that out there real quick, that that is profound in itself, because when you walk into an inner city, or when you go into an inner city, when you go into a basketball court with a group of kids or young adults, sometimes it's deeper than basketball, but this is all they have. So the fact that you're doing the play, which is in itself a huge thing, with just the basketball court. I just put that out there. That right there is its own point.
Yeah,
So
and you know, and the play takes place like right after the Great Depression. So you have a lot of people that are, you know, can't feed their families and you know are
Yes.
struggling just to put some money into the household.
Yeah.
But yet they all take time to go and see this incredible black team play. So this is like their release, their savior to what's happening
Yeah.
in the world.
Random side question. So as that point you made about the depression and people with their jobs, so when you were a pro basketball player back then, was that your only occupation, or did some of these guys have side hustles? Like, were they work? I'm just thought it just came to my brain actually.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And for the Harlem Wrens basketball team, they were the cream of the crop.
Okay. Okay.
So you had the other black teams that were there, but everyone wanted to play for the Wrens because, number one, they got paid the most. Number two, they were all black owned. The owner was
Oh, they're black owned too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
yeah.
only one still in history that they were the only all black owned team back in the 20s and 30s. So a lot of people wanted to play for the Reds. So they were the celebrities. They dressed nice.
Okay.
They had parties with Langston Hughes. And,
Oh, so they were part of the
Duke
Renaissance.
Ellington. Yes.
Yes.
So they
Wow.
were a part of that whole era
Yeah.
back then. So this was their only.
Yeah, that's really cool actually. I had no idea.
And we're gonna get to y'all, I promise. But why didn't anyone know about this? What, I mean, they were a part of the Renaissance, so how did this slip through the cracks?
Well, politics, and with the rise of the Harlem Globetrotters, the Wrens got kind of pushed behind. And I was having this conversation this morning. What a lot of people don't know is that the Harlem Globetrotters, they aren't even from Harlem. They're from Chicago.
Oh.
So they used that name to get the African Americans more involved with Harlem at that
Wow.
time. And even though the Harlem Wrens, and we talk a lot about this in the play, they were formed several years before the Globetrotters. Matter of fact, in the play, they play the Globetrotters.
Wow.
So that history got washed away when they ended in '49. So we're doing our job now, doing the 100-year anniversary of the Wrens
Wow.
to tell their story. They started they were created in October of 2023. They were created in October of 1923. Here we are in October of 2023.
Wow.
Telling their story. And what's even more incredible, I don't even know if you guys knew this. I'm gonna talk to you. On Friday, November 3rd, will be the first time they ever played at the Renaissance. Oh. Yeah.
What?
So
That's
this Friday
crazy.
coming up, November 3rd, 1923. And we get
Wow.
a chance to do that here at Delaware Theatre Company.
Delaware.
What?
Delaware, stand up. You know what I'm saying?
Lord have mercy. That
That's
is
cool.
so cool. Okay.
Yes.
Now, let us introduce to all of you our lovely our handsome, wonderful, talented.
I'm sure this good brother's playing Rick Fox. Is that who you're playing? Right. I'm in feeling. I'm a terrible baller, but go ahead. Sorry.
They will introduce themselves. So tell us your name and then who you're playing in the play.
So I'm Latrell Smith, and I'll be playing Clem Johnson.
Okay. And I'm Thaddeus Daniels, and I will be playing JoJo, the elder statesman on the squad.
Thaddeus.
Wallace DeMaurier, I play Benjamin Coffey III, who is the great-grandson of their coach, and I play Cab Calloway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Howdy. Oh, my man.
Shout out to Ken Calloway.
Yep, he lived in Delaware for a while.
Oh, wonderful. You know. My name is Lamar K. Cheston, and in the play, I played Leroy Amos. But these guys like to call him Leroy Amos. So, you know,
Okay.
love. You gotta earn the Leroy.
Okay.
Stars and rings now, all of a sudden it's Leroy.
My name's Rashad Milner, and I play Dee Witt, the jokester
Okay.
in the play. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, how did you? We can go. Whoever decides they want to answer. How did you hear about this production? Was it that he reached out to you directly, or someone was like, "Hey, somebody's looking"? How did this happen?
For me, I worked with Lay in 2019. We did a show in Arizona State. So Thaddeus big up me and kind of like had me hang around the fellas and watch. They have another show, Black Angels over Tuskegee. Amazing show. So I went and saw that, and I got to meet Lay. And then Lay, I guess, just needed somebody for Arizona, and he hit me up, and I was like, absolutely. Because what this brother does, man, I want to give him his flowers. He said choreograph, the writing, directing is amazing.
Don't forget
It's a-
Visionize.
and Visionize too. So when he calls me, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I drop everything. So yeah. It's
Aw.
good stuff. Yeah.
I've been with the play since 2014, like Leon said. But before then, it took me like 2 years just to get an audition for Leon. Because I mean, in New York.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna stop bigging him up because we did enough. But
Too much.
Yeah, it's only right. But I said once I got this audition, I'm gonna make sure that I kill it because I never know when it's gonna happen again, you know. And then from that, it was in a play called Searching for Willie Lynch. Also, Thaddeus was in it. From that, he rolled me on over, I should say, to Black Angels over Tuskegee, which is here last year in Delaware. And then in the process of that, he wrote characters for us in Rins. We were there from the creation of it, pages every day, choreography every day. We had a baby born during the process, during the curtain call. That brother's not here right now, but
okay.
a baby was born during the curtain call.
Wow.
Like she went into labor. So I mean, it's so much history here, and that's why we stick with this brother, man, because you know
Yes.
he makes sure that we tell the story the right way
Yes.
to everyone who needs to hear it. you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh man. So we've known each other forever and a day, right? Years. But both of us have really hectic schedules, so we've never gotten to work together. We just always boom, boom, boom.
Oh, hold the mic up here.
But then years ago, he tells me about this idea for this, and I go, "Wait, you gonna play basketball on stage?"
Yeah.
Right? And I'm thinking, you gotta be crazy. There's
Yeah.
no way. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I can see it. I'm gonna have an actual court." And I'm like, "Well, if anybody can pull it off, it's you, but no way. No, like what?" And so, you know, years goes on, and our schedules again do like this, and we always, you know, we stay in touch and this and that. And he, you know, I come to his shows, he comes to mine, but then he tells me, he's like, "Hey, you have an opening? Are you open? I got some." When he told me what show it was, I was like, "The one you playing basketball?" I'm there. I'm all there. But I mean, as he said, it didn't have to be this show. Whatever show it was, I've been wanting to work with him for years. It's my friend, but also an incredible playwright, an incredible person. Like you said, Visionized and created it. And I mean, we're sitting here, and if you didn't tell them, somebody would wonder, like, what gym are they in? It looked, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It made a real basketball court. Fearless dude, and I love fearless artists.
Yeah.
I love a fearless
Oh,
artist.
yes.
And so anytime, I told him with that, I was like, "Listen, if I'm ever available, you need somebody, call me. I'm there. Whatever,
Yeah.
doesn't matter." But yeah, when he was like, "The basketball show," I'm there. I got to see this in person.
Continue on that same thing. Visionize, trust me, he's mad he didn't think of that first. He's
We
gonna
can
be
co-collaborate.
He's gonna be using that. But like you said, we've all been together for a while, and the beauty of what we do is we're a family. We're actors, but we're also a family.
Yeah.
And so within the family, he hears our voices a lot
Yeah.
of times and how we, our rhythm, our cadence, and we can tell he incorporates those things. So when he came with this idea, and like you said, we started off, all our first rehearsals were choreography.
Wow.
There were no lines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were just getting together.
Because there was no script.
There was no script.
So we gonna dance first, right?
I was trying to visionize around that fact.
right,
you know,
right,
I was
right.
visionizing around that fact.
I love
But there was no script, so we were putting in hours and just doing
Wow.
choreography and reshaping it and shaping it. And like you said, page would come this day, two
Yeah.
pages would come this day, and like, nah, scrap that. Don't memorize that because
Yeah.
I washed that out and I'm putting something new down. But it's a trust factor, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's the way history shows that theater used to be created. Now it's more prepackaged.
Yeah.
And he has a way of working and developing with people he trusts that we know he's going to deliver. So we're patient. He's patient with us as we develop the characters, and
Yeah.
the results are proven. And so it was a joy to be a part of this process with him and this journey. And my knees are still barking, but you're going to have to pull me off the court.
Well, I auditioned for it in 2019, and I've been extremely blessed and fortunate to be a part of this production. And I also had the opportunity to grow as an artist with Leon. And I would say, I was thinking about this the other day, I'm like blessed to be a part of, such a great group of guys to really grow up as an artist. And the stuff visionized, choreography, directs, and like the notes he give me, I'm like,
Yep.
wow, I really take it into and just make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just blessed,
So can you talk a little bit about the audition process? Like, what are you looking for? I mean, everyone's kind of set in now, but like at the beginning, like, I mean, I'm assuming that a lot of actors, like it's hard to find guys who can act and really play basketball. You know
Wait,
what I
do y'all
mean? Like
all
that
play
in
basketball?
itself.
Do y'all all play basketball?
Fake play basketball.
Right.
Okay, I was gonna
right.
say, are we faking? Are we real?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a former player, so
Okay.
the basketball part was easier for
Okay,
me. Because
yeah.
I think I remember going on stage. He was like, "You got rhythm?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." He said, "Let me see you dribble." So I was like, "Oh, that's nothing." But yeah.
Yeah, with all the plays that I've ever written,
Oh no,
He's
you
mic'd
have.
up. Yeah.
this is far the most difficult play because you have to be able to do three things. First of all, I want a great actor
Yeah.
within to tell my words, or otherwise it just doesn't make sense at all. Second one is to have rhythm because there's a lot of choreography in the play, timing to music, and third and last but not least, be able to play basketball, or at least, like Lamar said, act like you can play basketball. So it's very hard to find actors who can do all three. Like, I'm also in the play, so I play a character. I didn't want to be in the play for this run. I had held auditions,
I ain't see nothing. Sure.
and I just couldn't find actors that could come in and do my role that had the rhythm and acting ability. So it's very difficult with this particular show. And first of all, you have to be able to trust each other.
Yeah.
Trust is very important because there's a lot of passing going on.
Literally.
We don't want balls to go in the audience and hit somebody on the head, you know?
Yeah.
So that factor of being able to trust each other and trust yourself that you'll be able to make the shots.
Yeah.
Make the shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I mean that's a metaphor too. Like,
Yes. Yes.
So it's a very beautiful play to watch, done perfectly, but it's also a very difficult show to cast actors in.
Yeah.
And so this show has been happening since 2014.
On and off.
Okay.
I started workshopping in 2014 in New York. We've been able to tour it different places, but it's changed throughout the whole process, rewrites and everything, trying to make it perfect. I think this will be, after this one, there's few little things I want to tweak, but this will be the final thing I put within the script. So I'll release it, I'll start licensing it for universities, colleges, high schools, and other theaters to do it starting in 2026. So.
Okay.
So you spoke on this, but like you have this wild, pretty grand idea about how, you're going to have basketball on stage and choreograph it. And he said, like, that's a stretch. So I'm curious to know, like, what within you was like, nope, I'm visionizing and I'm going to make this work. Like, what kind of kept you, I guess, faithful, honestly, in your ability to pull off your vision?
Well, I always like to try different things and unique stuff in theater that people haven't seen. I did a play, like Lamar mentioned, called Black Angels over Tuskegee.
Yeah.
That's about the Tuskegee Airmen. And people say, well, how you gonna, they flew planes, and how you gonna put that on stage? So I created the choreography within that play to whereas the guys use their bodies as planes. So I said, I know I want to try to create something like that with Kings of Harlem, to whereas we use the ball and the bouncing, taking that back to Africa, the rhythms that they had back in that moment. So I decided to go that route instead of more or less being a traditional way of you see a basketball game. The guys do play, but everything is choreographed. I call it my dancicle. You know, like a musical, but a dancicle with dancing and movement with no singing. So there's no singing in the play, just dancing and movement.
There is some singing, okay?
Oh yeah.
Oh, my bad. He's Al B. Sure. My bad. My bad. Right.
So I knew I wanted to try something that had never been done in theater.
Yeah.
You know, with basketball. So far, audiences are coming, they're loving it. We get an opportunity tomorrow. High schools are coming. It's sold out for 2 shows.
I love that.
So the kids get to see this play. And we did it for a local high school during the preview. Some of these kids had never seen theater before. So this was amazing. It was a basketball team, and they was like, well, can we do this out of our school? How could I get into theater? You know, so it's making people think theater isn't just for the square guys, you know, anymore. Because when I was growing up, you know, it's the square guys and then the athletes, you know, the theater, the glee club and all that stuff. But now kids are looking at it differently, especially because of this play here.
Can I say something as the newest person to the cast? Watching them, like when I played basketball in high school, watching them though, they really become a team. And the choreography is there, the team, like, the entire company, they are a brotherhood like I have never seen. I've been working in theater since I was 8.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen cast unity like this. Like, they leave here, they're brothers. They come here, they're brothers. When you're watching them, like I wouldn't even sit in the back. Whenever they were rehearsing their stuff, I would sit right here and watch. Because you watch them become a team.
That's cool.
Like I hang out with all these guys, I know them on a personal level, but as soon as they're up here, I see their characters. And so it's an incredible feeling to be part of.
That's cool.
And to see from the outside and now from the inside. It's an incredible thing.
Have all of you gone to school for theater?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that, because like, can you guys kind of go through and just give us your background, because it's really interesting.
Go ahead, I'll be sure. Go ahead.
See what you said? Yep, you're welcome.
But as Cam would say, but don't I look good?
Don't I look good, baby?
No, so, all right, so our history is actually very, very, very similar. And when I was saying our schedules, we do the same thing. So I'm usually producing shows on one side of the country, and he's producing on the other side of the country. But started off acting when I was 8. I did my first movie when I was like 8. My parents didn't really like Hollywood, so they were like, all right, you can go back to that part when you're an adult. But theater, you can do. We have more control over theater. You know, it's not as many weirdos or whatever. You know what I mean? If you're a working actor in movies at that age, you're an adult. Right? And my parents were like, absolutely not.
Good job.
So I just did theater, and like I would go to different cities and different things, and I've always done theater. And then high school, like I said, I played sports. I played football, baseball, and basketball. But then, honestly, the drama tournaments were on the same days as the games after a while, and I was like, well, this is, I love this, but not like I love this. This is what my passion is. And someone asked me one time, they said, what keeps you up at night? What would you do if money wasn't an issue? And it was always performing, always acting. And so, but then through acting, I also got into writing and producing, directing, and that's mostly because I don't like anybody having control over my life, and I had stories I wanted to tell. So one of the reasons that I wanted to work with him is, in my mind, he's a brilliant enough storyteller, and like I said, a fearless storyteller, that I don't mind taking a break from my own schedule. Because I love to work with, I'm inspired. I love working with this, and this, again, you know what I mean? This is fearless. And when he told me, that might have been 2013 when he told me about that, because he was doing a reading, and I was like, oh yeah, I come through, man. You know, if you need somebody to read, I got you. And he's like, I got this idea. I couldn't see it, but I wanted to. Does that make sense? I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
I got to see this.
Yeah.
Right? And so someone that fearless who also cultivates this kind of culture,
Yeah.
right? Then
Yeah.
of course, if I have a break in my schedule, I'm there.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, not a problem at all. Plus, one other thing I do want to say is I've always wanted to show that we as black men can work together in this industry. We don't have to always be pitted against each other. right?
Yes.
So I've never let anybody do that when they say, well, you know, Leon is this, and you're not putting me against Leon. That's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. He's an artistic genius. I love him. You know what I mean? So,
Who tried to say them things?
oh,
Who tried?
anybody, right?
I don't think anybody wants to pull up on a team, though. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, that's not a good idea.
They do not want these
I went to UNC Chapel Hill and basketball school, and but I played sports all the way through high school, and still was like a jockhead when at college in intramural sports, and we played ball every day. And about halfway through college, I took a class for an Easy A. It was a performance class.
Oh, wow.
Something happened, you know what I mean? And I couldn't go back, and the professors knew it, and they started putting me in shows. So
Wow.
we'd be playing ball after class against this famous gym called Woolen Gym. It's like 8 courts, and as soon as class was out, everybody's there balling, and I'd be in there balling. And in the middle of the game, I'm like, guys, I gotta go. I got rehearsal. They're like, what? Rehearsal? Like, what in the world is rehearsal? And so they were like, you know, oh, you in a play? We're gonna come see it. And you know, I'm a jokester, so they came to like, you know, crack on me, you know, at the show. And then they realized like, oh, this joke is actually kind of good, so they couldn't joke. And that's how it began. And I was blessed to find one of the greatest black theater coaches. He was a legend in New York, Ernie McClintock, rest his soul. And he took me under his wing. And so there was no professional school. I was debating whether to go to professional school, but once God blessed me with him, I was like, this is the source that I need.
Yeah.
That's how I began.
Wow.
Well, yeah, same, likewise. Originally from Birmingham, Alabama. Winona High School was a power basketball school, won back-to-back state championships there. After you left? When I was there. No, when I was there.
So you're a real baller, like
I'm a real baller, yeah.
yeah.
Then went to community college, Wallace State Community College in Selma. Then went to HBCU Stillman College, won a championship there as well.
Wow.
So yeah, I was a journalism major. Really enjoyed that, writing, filming, stuff like that. So it just so happened, God sent me the message to pursue acting.
Yeah.
So I went up to this agency that was in Birmingham, Alabama. She was like, hey, I think you should check New York out. And I was like, sure. So I discovered acting in that process. And I've been very fortunate to be in certain things, and this is one of them that helped me really grow as an artist in the artistry. And to play basketball and act at the same time, it's a dream come true.
It's unheard of.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I've been blessed and fortunate.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I started out as a dancer, so I was I was dancing for years, and then my mentor at the time, he from New York City originally, and he thought that we were like kind of getting full of ourselves. He wanted to challenge us. The challenge was a play, and the play was Othello. And we were all teenagers.
wow.
We don't know nothing about Shakespeare, nothing like that. So, but we had to have auditions, go in, and we didn't know. I ended up auditioning, and I got the role of Othello, and that was at 16. But after that, I didn't act anymore until maybe my 4th year of college. I did one play in high school. My 4th year of college, I was an accounting major, and I just started failing classes. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to wake up and go to, anything accounting related. So I failed the class, almost got kicked out of school. Acting is what got me back in school and would help me to graduate in a year and a half with my degree in acting drama. And then after that, I got an internship, and I was just trying to find my way in New York City. And I told you, those 2 years where I had to find my way in New York City, I was trying to get in touch with Leon. And then I did. Now I found my mentor, Thaddeus Daniels, and he's teaching me everything that Ernie taught him and all of us. We're in the house, and he's giving us first, I ain't even go, I can't do that right now, hold on. But it's just certain things that that lead you to your path, man. And This brotherhood was the first brotherhood I found in acting, and it's honestly the only one I want to be a part of. But you know, some more down the line, it'd be cool.
That's cool.
So my story is actually a combination of like all you guys is crazy. So I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Shout out Sparkle City.
I didn't know
Sparkle
it was
City.
called that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I went to the University of South Carolina and took like a one-on-one acting course my senior year just to get a credit. Fell in love. I loved it. So that planted the seed. So after that, I did marketing for a few years. Hated it. Right. So I was going to go to law school. Literally, I had passed the LSAT.
You hated marketing.
I
and
hated
was gonna
marketing.
Go to law school.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing, obviously. So I passed the LSAT. I was accepted to Syracuse or CUNY, so I was picking. And my mom was an attorney, so the whole thing was, okay, I'll go to law school, work for my mom, find my own way. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I just started auditioning just to see what it was like. I'm in New York. Let me try it. So I got an audition for Barack Obama. Life
wow.
story. I went.
Oh, no, I see it.
I went.
Give us the voice. Give us the voice.
My first audition was for Barack Obama, and obviously I didn't get the part. But when I got the call back and a third call back, it was like something happened. Something happened in me. It was like, maybe I could do this. So my mom was actually the one that was like, hey, law is not going anywhere
Wow.
at any time.
Wow.
If you want to do it, do it. So I had her support, and I think that's what actually had me take the leap. So
That's a big deal. Shout out to
it's
Mom
a big
Deuce.
deal.
That's a big
exactly,
deal.
Exactly,
Yes.
And then I met Thaddeus. Like I said, introduced me to these brothers, and been in it ever since. And and I'm a storyteller. You know, that's what I love doing. So
Who's the baby of the group?
Mattress.
Okay. What have you taken from this experience so far from each one of these gentlemen up here?
A lot, just the brotherhood, the connection, having each other back, you know, the trust,
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah. Who's the oldest?
Oh, actually, I don't know. I don't know. And that could never reveal.
JoJo.
I'll take the title.
What have you
Take a bullet.
What have you learned from all of them during this experience?
God, they keep me youthful. They keep me on my toes. And, you know, I went from being the one, like the baby who was sitting at the feet of Ernie, to having these brothers actually want to listen to what I have to say. And, you know, I'm like, I don't give that information out to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you have to earn it. You have to go from Leroy to Leroy. You know what I mean? You got to earn that keep. But all of these gentlemen sitting here have earned that.
Yeah.
And, so when we're sitting around, because, you know, the most times you learn is not in a class. I'm quite sure you guys have learned that in your careers.
Yes.
Like a lot of times it's just sitting around the table. It's riding in a car. It's the conversations that you have that accelerate your learning at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with us. Like we have our rehearsals where we learn, but we also have these interactions with each other where the learning and the concepts come and your growth happens at a very rapid pace. So I'm very thankful for these brothers, and they can't get rid of me now because they're my baby brothers, all of them, and I want to impart what's been given to me.
Yeah.
Say something on that. As someone who has studied acting most of their life, and Meisner graduate, and all these things, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right, though. It's a lot of concepts I learned in classes, and I've been performing most of my life.
Yeah.
So you learn stuff, you do, but every day I pick up something from it. Sometimes it might just be in our conversations at, midnight.
Yeah.
We're just up and we're kind of discussing the show and this, and a little something, or I might watch them. Because any chance I get, I'm watching, right?
Yeah.
When I'm not on stage, I'm right here, I'm right there watching.
Yeah.
And it might be just one little thing. It might be just a pause, you know what I mean? Just a little longer, or the way this person does this. It's constant learning. Like I've always had this theory of saying, if I ever get to a point where I feel like I know everything there is about acting, that's the day I quit. Or if I ever get to the point where I don't have the butterflies, where it doesn't feel like my first time,
Yeah.
oh man, and it's over. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
This keeps it fresh. So every time on that stage, is almost like the first time ever doing it because it is the first time. It's the first time for whoever's in that audience.
Yeah.
It's the first time they're ever gonna see it. So it's not, they're not gonna get the show yesterday or whatever else. Every time it's new, watching every one of them, no matter what level they're on, right?
Yeah.
And I never thought about acting, and then it just kind of bit me to studying this my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm a business major, but that was only because I knew I wanted to open a production company. But you know what I mean? But everything else is studying, I'm still learning all the time. And that's what I'm saying. That's the culture that I'm saying. I've never seen this.
Yeah.
I've seen people, and you know, you perform long enough. You're like, oh yeah, we're great, and you throw this word family around, but they really are.
Yeah.
They really, really are, and it's a very special thing to be part of.
Yeah.
Mr. Gray, you didn't give us your background, sir.
We coming for you.
To be brief, I'm originally from Louisiana, so if you hear an accent.
I do.
You do? Come on now.
It's
I don't
okay.
think I have an accent.
You
but
have
What
some,
part?
Y'all all have an accent
you
of
never
some
heard of my
sort.
city.
No?
No, Alexandria, Louisiana.
Okay. I got a friend who's from Lake Charles, but yeah.
Okay, that's close to where I went to school, Lafayette.
Yeah.
So, to be brief, because I have a long story I could tell. Grew up in a small town, Louisiana. I knew everyone called me the weird kid, you know. As I would wear flip-flops during the winter time. Hence, flip-flops now.
And you in the Northeast
and
now
never
doing
You gotta be a
that.
change,
grounded
you
man
know?
to wear
Right.
flip-flops, okay?
So, grew up as an athlete. Father was grooming me to go to the NFL. I was really good, scholarship, to D1 school. So, ended up going to a college, and one day after practice, I heard my favorite movie, which was Grease, you know. It's my favorite movie, and I was like, they were doing the Go Grease Light. I'm like, where's that coming from? Where's they showing the movies? It's the theater department. I'm like, well, what the hell is a theater department? I had no idea. So I went in and saw the kids on stage acting out the routine, and right in that moment, I knew that was what I wanted to do. So ended up losing my scholarship to do theater, and
What your dad say?
he was a little, like it's a long story. You know? He was a little upset, you know, until he saw me on his favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives.
Oh.
Then he was like, oh, that's my son, you know? But, you know, ended up falling in love in theater, moving to LA, then eventually to New York. So I think I made the right choice in deciding to be a storyteller instead of a rich pro athlete.
You know,
With back pain, though. Back pain, aches, you know.
Hey, you know, right.
You haven't seen these rehearsals.
The pain's still there.
we've had this this conversation with the previous interview, and I'm actually interested in opening it up just a little bit because I'm noticing that all of you, almost everyone here, has a sports background, and I'm actually really curious because I can relate. How has sports influenced your art? So you know what I mean?
Well, for me, from a directorial standpoint, from a creator, you know, growing up in sports, and these guys are tell you, I don't want to say I'm hard, but you say, okay, let's do this, and repetition. I have this thing to say, repetition builds strength. Yes. So you do it over and over and over and over, and that comes a lot from my athletic background that I put into all of my plays. Now, a lot of people can't go through this. I've had a lot of actors come in and just couldn't last. I have this thing that I say, which is, gentlemen, get your suits. Get your suits.
Okay.
That means, what that is during my,
No, you don't want to hear that.
to be brief
We about to work.
that, well, in my other show, the Tuskegee show, actors, I say, okay, bring in, for Act One, just bring in a suit from your home to wear during the show. And if you ever hear the words after a show, you know, get your suit, take it home, clean it, that means you've been fired.
Oh.
So,
Dang.
unbeknownst to them, and then I didn't get the call, like, yeah, we're not gonna, let's say you don't leave your suit and have to come back to the theater.
Right.
You know?
And y'all see this happening, they're like, oh.
Oh, my God.
Ring the bell.
And it's happened a few times within the show because, like everyone say, you know, if there's a lot of people, and we have a lot of Yale graduates, a lot of these prestigious theater programs that just can't keep up with our rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, you come from the college background, which is great, but when you get in the professional world, I want it now. You ain't got 3 weeks to fix it. I want it now.
Yeah.
And if you can't give it to me now, you gotta get your suit. And that's happened a couple times. So, and that come a lot from the athletic background of, you know, you do the work or you
Yeah.
Love
It's
it.
the discipline.
I want to add and kind of bring in what you said earlier, like, because basketball is more than just basketball. You're
Yeah.
saying. So there's always a time you used to go to the park, and there would be a time, like, it would always be in the afternoon, like after cats get off of work, the shift work or whatever, and everybody comes, you know, maybe at 6 o'clock, where that game is going to happen. And you got to get in, and, like, when you get in, you better deliver right away,
Yeah.
or you off the court, you know
Right.
what I mean? And so that's where the big boys are playing. That's kind of what this is.
Yeah.
Because we're running, and he ain't going to give you enough time to, like, oh, I need 2 or 3 weeks for her. Oh, what? No, jump in.
Yeah.
What do you got? You know, I'm going to pass you the ball. What you going to do with it? And, like, and that's kind of how we operate. And you got to have that strength. You got to have that confidence.
Yeah.
And then we start to trust you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
jump
yeah.
in the game and we see you ain't going to bobble the ball out of bounds or miss the shot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So once you do that, and that's like that sports metaphor
I love
that
it.
you're talking.
Can you give us a list of all of the productions that you were the head of? Whether you wrote it, directed it, lead actor, all of your.
all of them.
So let's
He's
just
like,
do
hey,
more
listen,
adult
I don't
life.
think you understand my
Like,
resume, young. You know what I'm saying?
The ones,
You don't
how
got that
about
much
this?
time.
How about this? The ones that were the most impactful.
You know, for me, because I read a lot about history, African American history, people really don't know about.
Yeah.
I get a lot of emails with people say, you should write about this, you should write about this. You know, just this morning I got about 3 emails from people sending me, you should write this was the first black man did the
Come
stop
put my
line,
list
you
away.
know? Yeah. So I have to be inspired to tell the story because I know the process that it takes for me as a creator from beginning research to end. So every story that I tell, you know, we have this thing like these are our babies.
Yeah.
So you watch them from here
Yeah.
to grow out to birth, and then you release them to the world to be for the world to see.
Yeah.
So all of them are very important. People say, "Well, Leon, what's your favorite play?" I'm like, "Well, the next one, the one I ain't wrote yet." So
My next move.
My next
is
move
My
is
next
my
move.
next
Go ahead. It's the whole
exactly.
thing. Sorry.
So for me, I started as an actor. I don't want to act in any of my shows, gentlemen.
You know, I
I
hear
really
that a
don't.
lot.
I really don't.
And I know
I'm
a
just
lot of
really
the
good
same
at
people
it.
be in that stage, but-
So I really can't visualize
But I
that.
really-
No, I can't.
But sometimes I'll start to write these characters like, wow, this is a cool character I would love to explore
Yeah.
within the piece. So that'll happen. Like right now, I'm writing on my next show, which is going to debut in August of 24 at this festival, this international festival, and it's about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm in the process of researching
Yeah.
that show right now. So I have to be inspired to tell stories. I can't just write something, you send it to me if it's not, doesn't interest me.
So, as a singer, I write my own songs. And when I write them and I reflect, I always think about, I'm a soul singer. And what that means to me is everything that's up in here has to come out in that song. And I want whatever is up in here for you to come out when you hear it. What are you looking for when you are creating these pieces, when you're creating these productions? What are you hoping people feel?
I don't go in it hoping people would feel. First, it has to start with me, you know, and as an artist yourself, you know, it starts from inside.
Yep.
And if you could feel, a prime example, I was writing my Tuskegee Airman show, Black Angels Over Tuskegee, and I was writing this particular monologue about this character talked about how he had a best white friend who killed another guy and blamed it on him. And as I was writing, well, back then I was writing it on an old typewriter back in the day when I was really broke. If y'all remember typewriters. And I just started crying as I was typing it, just typing this whole Jeremiah, that was his character monologue out. I just had to stop and I was just bawling. And I was like, man, if I feel this,
Yes.
I can only imagine what this will do
Yes.
from the audience standpoint. So it has to be true for me
Yeah.
before I even release it. Because these guys will tell you, I've rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten that particular script about at least 7 or 8 times. So finally, now I have it where I want it to be, and
Yeah.
now we're in the fundraising process to push that show to Broadway. So you may see that coming up within the 24-25 season in New York City. But it starts from within before it gets to them.
Right. Right.
Carlos Santana, to your point, said that basically, if the song I'm writing doesn't give me chills, it's right in the trash.
Exactly.
Keep going. So.
Exactly.
So what were you feeling when you wrote this one? And what are you feeling going through the motions?
You know, watching audiences' reaction, especially this is history that
Yes.
no one knows. Like, people had heard of the Tuskegee Airmen,
Right.
the first black aviators, but no one had never heard of the Harlem Wrens. Everyone thought the Globetrotters, and you just found out they're from Chicago, right? So it's beautiful to give this information out to people who love basketball and those who don't love
Yeah.
basketball, because this play is not, like I say, basketball is the backdrop.
Yeah.
You know, it's the journey that they're going through as people and as
Yes.
humans. And to know you have a race of people on your shoulders who are looking up to you as these giants, and to have all of that pressure on you in that moment, in this last game.
Yeah.
Like, you guys come to see the show, you'll see this last game,
Yeah.
a whole generation is looking on you
Yes.
to play this game. So
Do you feel any of that pressure personally with what you do
I
when
was
you
just
create?
about to ask him that. My God.
definitely, you know, just, and it's more or less about me wanting to, okay, this play Black Angels was great. Oh, I know I have to make something as good or better than Black Angels. Kings of Harlem, I got to do and make something as good or better than that. So again, it's coming from the athletic background,
Yeah.
you know, from athletes of
Yeah.
just constantly wanting to get better
Yeah.
and just make everything as good or better than the next one.
How do you manage your mental health when you are researching all of these little known facts, well known facts that can be uplifting, like this one, but also traumatizing, like the one you have coming next year? What are you doing for yourself mentally and emotionally?
I have to compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize.
Yep.
That one's all yours.
I love it. We inspire people on this show, okay, to be great.
That was great.
You know, because I am the writer, director,
Yeah.
sometimes actor, and a lot of times producer, I have to separate them all
Yeah.
to create the best product. And, you know, the mental health of it is very important, because it happened, you know,
Yeah.
especially dealing with the Tuskegee incident. Real, we were used as test babies.
Yes.
Needle inserted with the disease to see how long
Yes.
you can last. So, you know, it's very important for me to tell the truth
Right.
as I get through. Now, once I write something, I'll sit back and I'll let it sit for a while before I go back and just read through with what I wrote. We just did a play in Pittsburgh called We Be Me. And most of these guys, these two guys were in it. And the play, it was a choreo play, which is movement and dancing with poetry in it. And the play was centered around this gentleman. Thaddeus played this guy who was on death row, and it was his last 2 hours before he's executed.
Oh, Lord.
And now he's reliving what put him into this moment through 8 different personalities, played by 8 different characters, where he was abused as a kid, you know, and he unfortunately murdered his father, who abused him. And for me as a writer and as a creator within this particular play, not saying what he did was right, you know, murder isn't good at all, but for the audience to understand what put him in this predicament,
Yeah.
from being, you know, abused and having to go through that as a kid.
Yeah.
And for the 2 hours of the play, we see him from a little boy to a teenager to dancing to falling in love,
Yeah.
to having his first relationship with a girl, to him going through that whole journey of life leading up until they put that thing on his head and execute. And the audience was like in tears at the ending of this moment. And as a director, I always say, for me, writing, all my writer friends get mad. Writing is the easy part. You know, I get my joy and the love out of directing, watching it come alive.
Yeah.
You know, seeing where I could put the actors and underscoring the music. Because like watching a lot of my plays, like sitting in the audience watching a film, I underscore a lot. I use music as a character, whereas actors will just be on stage and you'll see them in their moments, and the music underscored is telling the story, is pushing it forward. So, I forgot what question you had asked me. I jumped out.
Your mental health.
Oh yeah. So you know, from that point, I have to separate that from as I create it, and then let it rest.
Yeah.
Let it breathe a little bit, and then come back to it.
I just need a moment because just you describing those things, my God.
So how many more shows do we have left? How much time until people can come get their tickets and come to the theater?
So everyone,
Yes.
come get your tickets. You have until November 12th to come and experience Kings of Harlem here at Delaware Theatre Company. I'll tell you what, you're going to truly enjoy yourself. It's fun, it's history, and most of all, you're going to learn information that you haven't learned before, just in life in itself.
Yeah. What do you guys, what can you say to our youth who will be viewing the play and may even watch this interview, who are artists at heart and may not know what to do, where to go, how to do it, who to talk to? And to some of our athletes.
Just a couple of you guys. Everybody don't have to. Yeah.
I will say, tell your stories. And I do believe in taking classes and learning your craft. I used to have an email that was respect the craft, you know what I mean? And whatever it is, I'm not necessarily saying you have to take class, but if this is something you want to do, especially if with athletes, pour into it the exact same way you would. Work just as hard on it. Like, work on characters in the mirror. If you're a writer, write those stories and get rid of the yes people in your life who are going to always tell you it's phenomenal. You know, get people who will tell you,
Grandma's great, but we need some other people.
You need whatever it is. It's honestly, artists are not always appreciated until we blow, or until, you know what I mean? People don't really see it. They don't understand it. Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
You continue to tell your story. You work hard on telling your story. You stay true to that. All the rest of it will come. They'll come see you on stage one day and, oh my God, that was awesome, that was incredible. Or they'll read something that you did. It'll happen, but you do have to put the work in. You have to be willing to put the work in as though you would any other profession, anything else. I always say nobody in their right mind will wake up and try to perform heart surgery on somebody.
Absolutely
you know,
not.
You absolutely would not. But everybody thinks they can just wake up and be an artist or a writer or this. That's not true. At least not a quality one. So that's what I would say is put in the work.
And on top of that, too, I would say, and we were having this conversation the other night, be discerning. I was telling them my story. I was good in basketball in high school, and I had this coach that was horrible, and he stunted my growth, I felt. And so when I came to acting, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be more in control of who I let over my artistry. And so if I fell into a class or got to a teacher and I thought they weren't the right one or could get me to where I wanted to go, I would leave. So I would say, you know, seek out the teaching, seek out the coach. But if that coach doesn't have your best interests at heart, keep searching. You know, find the right person for you, and your spirit will let you know when you found the right home, and that's where you stay. But don't stay under anybody that doesn't have your best interests at heart.
Definitely. Don't be afraid to take risks. Seek out mentors. Do whatever it takes. Reach out. Keep working. Don't give up. For the youth.
Any last words, good sir?
No, just come see the show, guys. We're here to November 12th. Make sure you come out. You know, the actors come out after the show so you get a chance to meet them and talk a little bit about the show. So, Delaware Theatre Company, Kings of Harlem. Come and see the Harlem Wrens and learn history.
That's
Yes.
it. Woo! Bam.
We love you for watching. Bye.